Hi guys, welcome to episode 8 of Legion Live. We are on time this week, though it's absolutely peeing it down outside, so apologies if all you can hear is and that. Somebody's got us on there we go. Right, starting again. So apologies if you can hear all the rain on the ceiling of the Blam Cave. It's really, really noisy. I can barely hear people. Right, so this week I am joined by, just got to figure out which way. Here to my side, I've got IDICBeer.
Hi everyone.
Okay, and then on the far side we've got Jacob from Warpforge.
Hey.
Below me for the first time we've got Richie, and I've got his name wrong, Tattoo for you. I'm just going to change that now. And to the right of him, we've got...
Hello, good evening, or morning, or afternoon, or wherever you are.
All of the above.
Okay, fixed. Right, so we're all here. Sorry about the little delay there. May as well jump into... Channel News. Right. I'm going to choose Richard, since it's your first time. You want to go through any sort of stuff going on your channel?
Not much really. I just did the Weird Wednesday update for the Star Wars figure I'm painting. Got him all done up, finally.
Yes. Is that supposed to be Han Solo, do you think? Or is it just some generic...
Alliance Smuggler. It's for that game or whatever. I know absolutely nothing about this game, so it was just a cool figure.
Judging by the name, it's most likely to be Han Solo. Looking at it as well.
And then I'm just doing trying to get caught up on troops. I have 0 troops painted up for my Tau army, so I need to get that done. yeah.
What class is this troops these days? Are the Kroot still troops, or is it just the Fire Warriors?
I think the Kroot. Yeah, they're troops still. They're troops. The best bit are fast attack, so.
Alright.
No, don't. That's it.
Okay, Nick, you want to go through yours?
Sure, yeah. I've been doing the Scrag Guard.
No, because they'll hear me. No, don't.
Been working on that.
You want to watch it? Go to the bedroom and turn it on.
Dark Eldar. I've been doing my conversions for the Raiders. And I have a very special video coming up because, believe it or not, I am just coming up to 1,500 videos on my channel.
Really?
1,500?
1,500.
Somebody was busy.
Wow.
So I've got a special battle report coming up. Should be lots of fun, hopefully. But yeah, so looking forward to that. So I think it's about 5-6 videos away now, so pretty close.
Awesome. Right.
That's it.
Oh, cool. What have you been up to, Jacob?
Not much. Currently, because I've got a trip over to Warhammer World on the 9th of July with Phil and Liam and Sean from the Dark Artisan.
Yes.
I'm currently painting up night for the game. Currently, I'm painting up this guy, the trim. I have to say, bronze by Vigello's model colour range. Fantastic gold, really gets the grittiness with the sepia shade on, well, sepia wash on top. Aside from that, I've been painting more Batman minis to try and get more on the Arkham files. Currently I'm painting up 3 sidekicks and leaders. First one is Big Bane over here.
Ooh.
All the wires. They were a pain in the backside to build those wires. Just, ugh.
Is that an official model?
Yeah, these are all official models by Knights Models. Arkham Knight Scarecrow. I know it's not the best lighting, but...
Oh, nice.
We can see the outline.
And then the Arkham Knight himself at the moment. I've bought the resin bases from Fenris Games as well. They're quite nice for an industrial complex. So what I'm trying to do is I've got a load of bases for when the freeze scan comes, because I want to try and do like a frosty industrial surface to represent that he's in Gothcore. So with that all in all, I've also been trying to plan. I've been writing down jotting ideas for a campaign that I'm wanting. If anyone wants to test it out before I go ahead and go really into it, was just going to be a bit of fun, like a multiplayer kill team of Tempestuous Psychons versus Dark Mechanicum, which consists of Thagmanta, Army List units, any Scutari or Adeptus Mechanicus, and demons. And for house rules' sake, they'd all be like Battle Brothers, and it'll play like a roughly kill team thing, but it'll just be a way of blasting out demons, kind of thing.
All right.
Sounds cool, yeah.
Narrative campaigns are always good. Right, what have you been up to, Mike?
Finishing the part works, well, catching up with the part works, I should say. So HMS Victory is up to issue 80 now. So all the detailing work is starting to happen. Finishing off the last mast.
Looks beautiful, by the way. I love it.
Thank you. I'm really pleased with it. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to pop down to the Victory again, the real thing, and have a look again, just to get some more inspiration. So I'm up to issue 80 on that. It's 40 issues to go, and I'm up to issue 73 out of 100 on the Millennium Falcon, and that's caught up with now, apart from painting it. So I need to work out how I'm going to paint that and sort that out. So we'll have a look at that. And aside from that, I've been playtesting as well. I've been playtesting a game for Kickstarter that's going to be coming up to Kickstarter in July. So yeah, it's called Hostage Negotiator.
Oh right, I was going to say, are you tied lips on that one?
No. It's a follow up to a release they released end of last year, beginning of this year. So next time we talk about Kickstarters, that's probably something to talk about then. But, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. No other kind of 40k stuff. I've put everything away now, so I'm gonna paint something now. So I need some new brushes though. So it's good we're talking about hobby supplies, because I want to get some new brushes and start painting some stuff again. I'm dissatisfied with my current brushes. Yeah,
me too. I guess that just leaves me. Not much that I've been doing. If you've seen my last video, you'll probably know why. Just this. This is. It's really hard to tell what's going on with this, but basically it's Orc grabber for the back of the Orc truck. So we've got some pistons going on that you can't see, and just a little claw. It's nice and grippy and beat up. It's going to paint up really nice. So that's it really. Nice and short for my part. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a few shout outs to the chat. We've got Darkest Soul, we've got Joel Driver, we've got FK Wargaming. I think I saw Dan from Big Mac Danskull. Is there anyone I've missed, guys? Oh, Scragguard, of course. We've got Scragguard as well. Welcome everyone. Looks like we've got roughly 11 viewers, but that probably includes us lot as well. Right, so we may as well move on, as Mike's mentioned, to do the topic of the week. Topic for discussion. So this week's discussion is hobby supplies and where to get them. That's the sort of overarching title. We wanted to take it in sort of chopped up chunks and tackle each one. So best place to start really is where you start. Funnily enough, and where we all started with our hobby supplies. I think we all pretty much agree on this one. The place where most of us start out is the GW Citadel painting kit, the one that has the Space Marine, or did it have an Orc for a while? Does anyone know? Can't remember which one I got. I think I had the Space Marine one back from way back when with the very static pose.
It was like the edition where the gun bolts on the chest.
Yeah. The ones where they used to come in two pieces, literally just the body and then the gun.
Yeah.
They had a fantasy one as well, I think. I can't remember what was in that. Was it a high elf or something like that?
I think so.
So, yeah, so I guess we'll have a chat about where we started out. Who wants to? I think I've pretty much said it. I got the old GW kit. Anybody else?
Well, I certainly used GW stuff. I didn't get the kit. because I was doing Necron, so I just got some silver paint and a dry brush.
Silver paint. Was it even a spray, or was it actually paint in a pot?
No, from a pot, yeah.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't
So,
spray then. That's not so bad.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, for a very long time, I only ever bought GW stuff. And to be fair, it's probably only the last 5 years or so that I've actually ventured out of their stuff. Primarily the first step being with the paintbrushes, which we're going to obviously probably talk about later.
Yeah.
But in terms of starting, yeah, definitely I started at the GW store.
How about you, Jacob?
I kind of started. I still got some of the paints actually, but if it was
Fancy
upside
case.
down. Oh yeah, just a nice little like music case over here full of paint. Quite literally, it's just there.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. It was like one of these, and with a bit of make it through it again. Back in the old days, I started off with these, and they were okay. But when you're a beginner, you kind of like don't know how to paint, so it ended up like looking quite thick on your mints. But as I've like grown over the years, I found myself I like more of a Jello's game colour, and Jello's model colour now. I just find like. Now I know how to thin paint. They do quite nicely what I want.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I've moved on to how do you pronounce it? Vallejo? I've never been told how to pronounce that.
It's a different one. There was a massive one in the model club debate over how to pronounce it. It's like I call it Vigello or Vigello.
I don't know. I try to think of it as French. I don't know how the French would pronounce it. I don't know. Richie, where did you start off?
Pretty much with that kit, the Citadel paint kit, and
Same
then after
Space Marine one.
Pretty much, yeah. After I messed that up enough, I decided to get newer other paints. So, but it stuck with Citadel from the get-go.
And Mike, where was your beginnings?
Yeah, I'm the same. Oh god, Rogue Trader Box Set 1 was my first sort of foray into it, so it was like the start of Space Marines really. But I was into D&D at the same time, so we were painting some fantasy models as well. But I remember the old Citadel, they didn't come with miniatures, they were just, they had like the base paints, they weren't called base at the time though, or the undercoat paints, and then they had layer paints or the equivalent at the time, and the old inks as well, which were the the kind of the old style washes, I suppose. It wasn't washes, it was more inks. And I've still got a couple actually, still got a few inks left from the old range. But that was my first start. But yeah, all game washes and paints and stuff.
Cool. Joel Driver's saying it's pronounced Vallejo. Maybe we need some sort of straw poll on it.
How do you pronounce it?
Let's have a see. Yeah, so I think we've just how do you pronounce? How do you spell it? Vallejo.
I think it's Valejo.
L-A-O or Val Edge O. There we go. Just gonna put this up on the chat now. If I can find it. There it is. There's a straw poll for people to use. And of course, vote on ourselves. I'm going with that. Let's have a see how that turns out. Anyway, sorry about that. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Yeah. Forgotten what we were saying. So what's the kit now that they provide at GW? Because of course that's what a lot of people are going to be using to get into the hobby. Anyone know what it looks like? Is it expensive?
They do have
painting. Here we
that
are.
new Space Marine one, don't they?
There's a build of.
Isn't there a new Space Marine one?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
The
Well,
There's a
Space
Space Marines
Marine has
paint
a-
set, and there's a Citadel build and paint.
Ultramarines.
And the build and paint seems to have clippers and glue and a paintbrush and what looks like smaller tubs of paint, like half-sized tubs of paint. You guys seen that?
I've
Yeah.
not seen it.
Like you're not even getting full-size tubs of paint. I'm just going to put a link in the chat.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
what
just
I'm
pulled it
looking
up
at.
now. Yeah, they look
I've
like
never
they're
seen that
smaller for
before.
sure.
Yeah, they're like completely mini, and yet the Citadel base paint set, they're full size.
How much is it?
20 quid for looks like 10 half
20
size
quid.
paints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, they're definitely smaller, aren't they?
12.
Oh, see, they have the
half-size
Space Marine set too.
Yeah, and they're all small as well.
Yeah, and you get 3 Space Marines in that one.
From what I can tell, you don't get any miniatures with the build and paint kit though.
It's
all you're getting
just
is
all the
12
kit
paints.
stuff.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
with
just
the
the paint
Space
and
Marine
paint
one,
kit?
you get 3. 3 Space Marines
And they have an AOS one too.
8 paints. 8 mini half-size paints. That's weird. That's a bit of a shame, really, because, I mean, you're going to end up with a mismatch of different sized pots. I don't think anyone's as anal as I am about that, but that bothers me, as you can probably tell.
It bother me.
Bothers me more than it probably should do.
I mean, are they still charging like full price per like paint pot for like half the paint?
You're certainly getting a lot more paints than you would get for 20 quid, that's for sure. The
Yeah.
paints are what, three
Yeah.
quid each, something like that?
That is
Mm.
standard. You get a brush, you get clippers, glue,
Yeah.
and all those paints. That's actually really good.
And the Space
Yeah.
Marines
Look at
one,
that.
you get
Okay.
3
First
Space Marines as
time
well.
buy.
Mm.
Yeah, first time buy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not too bad, actually. Like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 Space Marines and a load of paints for 20 is... It's fairly
No
good, I
clippers
suppose.
or glue though. No clippers or glue
That's true.
with that one.
You have to twist them off the sprue like I do.
Oh, that's the way. Bite them off.
Old school.
Use your teeth. What's a few
Toenail
holes on
clippers.
the mini?
Kitchen scissors. That was the old school way.
Oh, I was always in the camp of break one and then bend it backwards and forwards until it comes off,
Nice.
which is blasphemous in a lot of circles, I think.
Give it the old sprue twirl
Exactly,
until
yeah.
it pops off.
It's really bad for the miniature, that's for sure. Although it worked better when you used to have a first chunk of the mini all in one, and then the actual slotter base bit was the bit that was attached to the sprue, because then it didn't matter because you were just damaging the slotter base, weren't you? Oh, the old not like that anymore. Interestingly, just looking at the Space Marines they offer in this kit, the feet are attached to the base,
Yeah.
which is
Then you
strange.
sculpt things.
Oh, so they are. Yeah.
That's
That's
really
crazy.
bizarre. Anyway.
Got like the ultra tag
Yeah.
molded into it using transfers.
Oh, so is it for a specific
Chapter,
chapter as
yeah.
well?
Yeah, Ultramarines.
And the
Because the
shoulder
boys
pads are on the arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're moulded, aren't they? Yeah.
Although you could use arms off a different kit. Push come to shove.
Good.
You could just use a craft knife and just scrape it up carefully.
That's true. Or file it down with.
I think the kit
nail
though is
files.
just aimed at someone who just wants to have a quick go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Definitely a good intro into it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Ultramarines are the face of their company, pretty much.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least for 40k. So.
Right. I guess we've covered that. That's how it's going to look for new people coming into the hobby. It's not too bad at all, really. Just a shame about the half-sized pots, really. That's just me being awkward, I think.
At least you won't have to bin the pots when the paint dries up.
That's true, because it won't have chance to dry up. Well,
That's how they get you to buy more paint.
Yeah, the worrying thing is it's still the same pots. So while you're using it, the pot lid is gonna be open, isn't it? More chance of it drying up if there's less in there. Anyway, so that's how it looks. That's how we all started out. I think we've all started out with the same thing pretty much, which I'd like to say is interesting, but I think that was pretty much a given at that point. I think that's the same for everybody. Let's have a quick look. Okay, we've got 6 votes for Vallejo and none for Vallejo.
It is Vallejo.
I think that's unanimous, isn't it?
That's definitive answer.
You can take that back to the gaming club. You heard it here first. Vallejo. Cool. That was pointless, but I found it fun. So, next point we want to talk about is quality versus quantity. I've got it written down here. I think the main point of this is, well, Richie's quite a good person to talk to about this, because you use poster paints on miniatures. Is that right? So
Yep.
we're going clearly here with potentially quantity over quality.
Totally, dude. The way I look at it, these paints, at least Apple Barrel, they're the ones I've used the most. I have had a couple other craft paints that are just they're garbage. They're pure garbage.
Excuse me a
But
sec.
you can thin these down just as much as you can Vallejo or G-Dub, and they still work good. At least in my opinion, you know. And they run through an airbrush too.
Oh,
A
really?
little witch hazel or something like that, and you can run it right through as well.
See, I tend to use a similar thing on terrain, and these are deco art. But I've tried them on miniatures, and I don't know. They tend to be thicker and less pigment in them. The ones that we get over here. Which is
If
a
the
shame.
Apple Barrel, the pigment's perfect in my opinion. It works out real well. So.
Did you get the same selection of colours?
Sometimes more, I feel.
Alright. Well, that's cool.
ahead. So.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I used on my daughter's Tyranids, and just barely thinned it down, and it worked really well. So.
Alright. Certainly cheaper. What is that, 60 mils, is it?
I believe so.
It's about the same as what I've got here.
Yeah, 60.
Right, anybody else use alternatives to the GW paints that we've just been talking about for about 10 minutes?
Well, let's see. I use Vallejo paints. So I like them because they do get the colours right. I mean, sometimes they can be a bit hit and miss with the pigments. Like, depending on the colour, like yellows and oranges are usually quite thin. So I usually have to use like a base coat of bone colour to thicken the paint when I apply the orange paint onto the model and stuff.
Right.
So it can be a bit hit and miss, but majority of the time it's usually good stuff, and it's at like a price I can afford. So it's like stuff like that. That's a godsend to me Night Lords, which want like a darker gold, more grittier gold kind of thing. So
Right. I've recently started using the small dropper bottles of Army Painter shade that they do. Basically, it works exactly the same as Agrax Earth shade, is it? The brown from GW? It's essentially exactly the same thing as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
But I think you get a lot more in there.
I haven't used any Army Painter yet.
You know, I've only come across the spray paint, which I had a little bit left that a friend gave me, and it was awful. I don't know whether that's the age or what. And then the shade. I don't know whether they do any like paint. They certainly do paintbrushes.
Yeah.
You used anything different, Mike?
No, I mean I've started with GW and kind of am still there, to be honest.
Stayed with
25 years later,
Wow,
it's I'm stuck in my
25.
ways now. I'm too old to change. But I've recently sort of branched out into using some of the Vallejo metallics, which are really nice actually. Some of the metallics are really good in the Vallejo range. I'm sort of experimenting with the silvers and the chromes. I mean the chrome they do, the aluminium paint is really nice, really realistic looking, more so than the GW paints I'm finding. But I prime all my stuff through the airbrush these days and use the Vallejo primers, and they go on really nicely, really flat. And if you're a bit heavy-handed potentially, or spray a bit too much on, or your finger slips, or whatever, it still goes on really flat and dries really nicely. And that's all the colours. I mean, the blacks, the greys, and the white. And I mean, my experience of, well, I've seen Nick's rattle can white shenanigans, you know, where it dries fuzzy or doesn't look right. But yeah, I mean, I've found that the Vallejo ones, and even just painting it on, to be fair, if you wanted to paint on, just to kind of touch up bits, if you needed to get a bit of primer on there to redo something, it's that seems to work as well. But yeah, Games Workshop, I'm
Yeah, I was until very
That's
recently. It's only very recently I've started branching out myself.
I think the big kicker is what you can afford too, though. You know.
True.
I mean, I have Vallejo and I love Vallejo too, and I use ink washes. I use Winsor Newton, the little pen and ink pots or whatever. I love that for washes, but it's just, if I can't afford it at the time, I just need to find something that'll work, and it can get difficult for sure.
Well,
I've been known to use all sorts.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying I've been known to use all sorts when it comes to terrain, and very mixed outcomes from each of them.
Terrain is different. You can get away with anything on terrain, can't you?
Yeah.
I do personally like to use the GW stuff in the terms of the paint, but I have been forced to go to Vallejo, however it's pronounced, because obviously they changed the paint range. So from all of my armies, apart from my Space Wolves, I used the brand new paint range, but my old armies are obviously all in the old paint range. So I've had to go to Vallejo, their game colour, which as far as I'm aware is exactly the same paint as the old GW paint colours, to match my armies. So GW actually forced me to go to Vallejo.
Wow.
Yeah, I hated when they did that. They changed the names and everything too.
Yeah. I tried to do the same myself, go to Vallejo.
And all the colours, they were all completely different.
Yeah. Days of Devil and Mud.
I tried to go to Vallejo myself for my Tau, and I used, I think it was Rotting Flesh at the time, which has now got a different name, which is like a light green. And I used one of them charts to sort of track which paints matched across the different brands. And it came out, instead of green, it came out the same shade, but yellow. And of course I couldn't tell, being colourblind, because it was exactly the same shade, and it's a fairly pale colour anyway. So I ended up having half my army yellow and half green at one point, and had to go back in and paint it again with the GW paints when I finally found some, which was a bit upsetting. But yeah, sometimes it's a bit hit and miss. A lot of the times I think you can get the same paint, but there are occasions where there's charts tell you they're the same, but they're really not.
Yeah.
Which, so you need to be careful on that one, I think. So that's paints. Should we cover paintbrushes? Anyone want to talk about their experiences with paintbrushes over the years?
I use them like pellets.
What was that, sorry?
Will you go first if you want?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I use GW brushes again. And I went through a stage of my hobby stuff where I'd only use the GW stuff. I did use the Citadel brushes for quite some time. At the old range, I think they were actually okay, but they didn't last very long. That was my issue. I was buying like a paintbrush every month. And although they're only £3, that adds up. So obviously, via obviously the YouTube and everything, discovered the fact that there are better brushes out there. So I tried Winsor & Newton Series 7, and I really haven't looked back. They are absolutely awesome brushes. I mean, the brush would last me. I find, bear in mind, I do actually do a lot of painting. It lasts me about a year. A Winsor & Newton brush, which is pretty decent. But not only does it last that long, it stays in its shape, and the hairs don't come out so much, and it's just a great series of brushes. Now, obviously, GW have changed their brushes now. They've got this new expensive range. So I thought I'd give one of those a go. So I tried these. I think it was the standard brush, just like the normal size brush.
Oh yeah.
And it did last longer than the old ones, and it did hold its shape longer. But it lasted about 3 months. So definitely not as good as the Series 7 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding that now too. I was, again, Citadel brushes really just what you know, and they're easy to get, and you kind of know that they're designed for the purpose of painting miniatures, I suppose. But I've tried a new range, and they're not lasting very long, couple of months, 3 months, and they're losing the point. And but Windsor and Newton Series 7, I need to try. I've never used them, so I need to jump on that, I think, and have a go. I've tried Army Painter ones. I didn't find those were working very well for me, and I tried the Games and Gears ones, and again they're okay, but no better than the GW ones, in my opinion, or from my experience, I should say. But yeah, Windsor and Newton seem to be the way to go.
Do the Army Painter brushes, Mike, have like a bigger grip or something, like a triangle grip?
They got a triangular handle. Yeah, triangular handle.
I find that.
Again, I didn't get on with it too well, to be honest. I didn't. I mean, I suppose if you got used to it, and I'm sure that it's just dying that way through. But didn't suit me, to be fair.
I must admit, I tend to like to hold my paintbrushes a little closer down, and so I find that the grip gets in the way, the triangular grip on the Army Painter one. So I sort of find myself fighting over the edge of the triangular bit. Though the point, which is strange for my brushes, is actually really nice on that one. That's the character brush. And then I've taken to using watercolour brushes.
I hear a lot of people use watercolour.
Yeah, this one's an Aquafine Daler and Rowney that I got from Hobbycraft. Not too expensive, but again, that has kept a really nice point over lots of uses. So that's my new turn to. And they're not that expensive. They're actually the most expensive ones I could find in Hobbycraft. But they were still sort of on par with the price of GW, if not cheaper, from what I can remember. And they're certainly outlasting the GW ones. So yeah, I think there's something to be said for moving away from where you started with the GW kits, especially when it comes to brushes. That's for sure. What's a Bryce? I don't know.
What sort of prices are you talking then for the Windsor and Newtons? Then how much are they going for?
That's a good point,
compared to the GW ones. It's clearly more expensive.
Yeah, they're about £9.50 each. I'd pay roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big investment.
Actually, I've got comments again. The comments he's talking about the heat brushes, which I have to say I did actually try one of those. That was the first brush I tried before Windsor and Newton. I forgot that, which I got online, but I went through a stage of struggling to get them. I think there was some sort of issue. I'm not quite sure exactly what that was. But yeah, I believe in America there's Kolinsky brushes. Is that right, Rich?
I think so.
I've heard that name, yeah.
I'm pretty much stuck on crap brushes for now. I need to try some new ones because the crap brushes last like a couple months, and then I'm looking for something else to use. So
there certainly is a false economy in buying cheap brushes.
Yeah.
Windsor Newton sell Kolinsky sable brushes. Is Kolinsky the type of sable?
Kolinsky hair, yeah. Reaper, sorry, not Kolinsky, isn't it? Reaper brushes, I'm thinking. Reaper, yeah, that's right.
I bought miniatures from Reaper, but I've not bought the paints or the brushes.
They're right up the road from me, just up in Denton. Yeah.
Do you ever pop along and get some miniatures?
When I worked at the comic book store, I had to take a big batch of their minis back to them and get credit from them. It was really cool going in there and seeing all their stuff. It was pretty rad.
That's cool. Okay, so just a few more people in the chat I've noticed. We've got Gareth. and Berg McDanscore's come back, and there was somebody else. Who have I missed? Oh, I don't know. I can't scroll because it moves on the on the stream as well. Oh well. So, I guess the argument there is it's depends on what money you've got for quality versus quantity, but it seems that spending the money tends to do the trick as far as war games concerned. That seems to be the overarching theme that I'm getting from you guys.
Yeah, it's like how often you're spending that money for the crap brush, as opposed to if you put a little bit more up front, you're not going to buy a brush as often. So
that's true. Right.
What about things like clippers and knives and things and stuff, though? You know, it's. I mean, I tend not to spend too much money on those sorts of things.
Yeah.
For example, with the GW knife, or you know, the hobby knife, for example. I don't know how many blades you get with it these days, but I remember you used to get 10 with it, and you don't get 10 anymore, I'm sure. But then, you know, I mean, I'll go to my local craft store, hobby store, or whatever, and just buy a pack of blades, 10 blades or whatever. You know, like scalpel blades, which are really sharp and just a handle to put them in.
Yeah,
they work perfect. Well,
I've started
to
using just cheap ones. I can't remember the brand, but the handles are like a couple of quid, if that, and then the blades are a couple of quid for like 5. It certainly works out well.
Yeah.
Let's have a see.
I feel like once you have a handle, you're set.
That's it, yeah. You just buy the different blades for different jobs, don't you? You can buy the small ones and the big ones and the chisel ones or the curved ones or whatever you need to do for your hobby needs.
The clippers, on the other hand, I picked up some off eBay, and they're garbage, dude. They don't
really?
line up. Like you go to cut and they're off. And I'm like, that's just crap on those, man.
I got painting a hobby knife, and it's worked since. I mean, I got it as a sale for when my store was closing down, but I knew I needed one because there's so many like bits that I need to put out there. Too accurate for, so I am just using that now these days, and it's actually cool.
Sorry, I didn't hear the end of that there.
Yeah, I was just knife is actually pretty good quality. Even like I got it as a sale from me WARGAMES store, but it hasn't broke. The first blade hasn't broke. It's giving it's like 4 to 6 like spare blades, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, and it's still not snapping. So obviously I'm not like shit to its limit, but for what it is, it's doing its job. It's staying sharp. I'm not like waving it around and abusing it. So I hope it's going to last us at least a year.
It should do, I think. Yeah, I've got actually 2. I've got a heavy duty one, and I've got a light duty one. Of course, the heavy duty one isn't going to snap as easy, and the light duty one just cuts through styrene really, really easy. I can't remember the brand though. I think they've got made in America on them, made in USA, but they're dirt cheap. The handles will last you as long as you've got, as long as you don't lose them, and the blades are pennies as well. It's a revelation. I think Richard wants to show us a snap blade.
Yeah, just one of these, man. These work too.
I was using them for a long time, but what I will say is that I'm definitely preferring the proper hobby knives now.
Oh yeah.
I use those for years and years, and the difference is night and day between using those and a proper knife.
I used that snap blade, and my very first piece of terrain that I made, it snapped and went through my thumb right through my nail.
Ouch!
Just 1 cent.
I actually used those on the walls in this place. Because you can extend them really long, I could just chop through like 100 mil of the insulation that's on the ceiling just in one swipe. It was awesome.
It's probably quality over, as well, because I got a really cheap one. So
probably what it was.
That's probably why it snapped, because I had it out.
Yeah.
Not that long, not that much. And
I'm surprised. Surprised it snapped, because the ones that I've had, I've tried to snap them along the little lines that are there, and they never snap across the little lines. They always end up at strange angles and the ends, and there's no point. And I've had really, really bad luck with keeping those blades working for more than just like a day.
I feel like the only way to do it is with a pair of pliers and just get it right on the end and snap them off.
That's probably what it was. I do sort of press them against the floor until they ping off and shoot in my eye or whatever.
I must have had a dodgy one then, it sounds like.
Yeah, certainly does. Stanley carpet knives, Godguard saying. I've used Stanley knives for a long time. What I used to do is I used to get just the blades, and then if you wrap paper around, like half of the Stanley blade, and then a load of tape, you can actually make a knife just out of the Stanley blade.
That's
Yeah,
called
I
a
did
shiv.
that. I did that, and I slipped.
It's weird. You don't think it'd be safe because the amount of pressure you're putting on you're half expecting the blade to come through the paper and chop your finger off, but it never does. It's surprising.
Extreme hobby.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. That's for sure. Oh, I think I scared people. My knife skills scared a lot of people in an old video I did where I was trying to make a piece of scenery in 3 minutes or 2 minutes, or maybe it was 90 seconds. So I'm chopping up this base of wood and trying to taper the edges, and watching it back, it's scary as hell because my just the knife's all over the place and my fingers are really close to it. Good fun though. That's back in my videos. But I got a lot of comments on that one saying, "Bloody hell, why you're going to chop your fingers off?" and all sorts. But I never have. So
That'll get you some views.
I can't remember if that was a very popular video, to be honest. I have to go back and check the numbers on that one. Ooh. Got somebody, Joel, saying that he knew someone who took the end of his finger off with a snap blade. What I had a habit of doing when I was younger is making holes in like chocolate tins, like tins of roses. I can't remember why I was making holes in it, but I was doing it with a pair of scissors, and you sort of twisting like that, and then eventually, all of a sudden, the scissors go through, and your hand's on the other side, and the amount of times I ended up with cuts, like on the side of my fingers, that just would not close. It's unbelievable.
For me, I've never managed to cut myself on a hobby knife or anything, but the amount of times I've cut myself on a simple file is like over the amount of them. Yeah, it's like just a little file. It's like I'm just filing this bit of like sprue off. Oh look, I'm cutting into my skin. Oh, now it's bleeding. No, that's great.
Oh, speaking of files, do people use expensive files? I actually use nail files. You can get like a set of 30 for £1 from Asda.
I got these from Poundland, I think. Done me fine.
Oh right, they look fairly professional. I'm talking about like the cardboard ones that your missus used to do the end
like
of her
emery
nails.
boards.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You can get a set of 5 of them from GW probably for £1 million, but you can just for £1 you can get like a whole set. I'll just see if I can get hold of them.
Yeah.
Talk
I'll
amongst
tell you what.
yourselves.
Remember that massive piece of metal that I filed down for the Dark Eldar Raider conversion?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
If I filed those down with an emery board, I'll be there about a year.
I got. There you are.
The cool thing about
36.
emery boards
loads.
too is they have all the sizes, like different.
Nice.
Yeah. I got like crap loads of them for like £1.
No, I just use the GW ones. I've bought 2 sets in 15 years, and they're really, really good.
Mind you, I can't see myself ever using these up. So many of them.
I know what my dad did once was for like really, really big models is that he got like a small block of wood and then he like sort of taped sandpaper over it. So then he had like literally block of sandpaper, so that when he came to like filing long strips of like plastic or something, he could just file them away without like having to get in awkward angles or anything.
That's what I tend to do. Yeah, I got the. You can get the ones where you get the posh ones that are like a piece of rubber, and there's a couple of pieces of nails, and there's a small hole, and you push it in, and it clamps on. But yeah, the basic one is just a piece of wood. Wrap the sandpaper around.
Sandpaper.
Jobs are good. one.
And coffee stirs or stuff like that, and just glue them to it and make strips of them.
Okay, that's interesting. So homemade emery boards.
Yeah, I've been using.
Yeah,
I've been buying sanding sticks recently because my kind of other hobbies cross over into the Games Workshop type stuff. So I'm buying things to make the victory, and you can get like you said, just sort of sandpaper on a stick basically, but you can buy them pre-done.
Yeah.
But they're really good for the plastic models as well. I find that they're not as severe as the files, and they don't leave marks, and they give a nice smooth finish. But
Cool. So we've been talking about sort of the price of things a lot so far. We'd be a bit remiss if we didn't mention like where we buy them from. This one can be a little bit polar. Of course, you've got the supporting the friendly local gaming store, or do you just go to eBay, or do you stick with the GW stuff? Does anyone want to kick off with what they do in that regards to that?
Well, I'll start. Since my gaming store's now closed off and now they've rebooted it as just like a normal gaming club on a Thursday, I'm not. Yeah, they have like a store on eBay and that's it. So I will try and go on eBay, and if they've got anything, I will buy it. But otherwise, now I'm just searching the net and looking for anywhere. And Poundland as well. Poundland I find do quite good quality stuff.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's about the same as eBay. I don't have a local game store anywhere around here. Nearest one's about like 40 miles away, pretty much. eBay, Hobby Lobby. Hobby stores, stuff like that. So.
I find myself going to hobby stores a lot more than gaming stores these days, I must admit. Though for the miniature paint, I do find myself still going to the local gaming store. You can't, unless you go for the craft paints, you're really stuffed for somewhere to get that from. Unless you go online, but I never need more than just one pot paint. I always find. And it's so paying the postage from online just seems a bit harsh for one pot of paint.
I tend to look for the ones that give you free shipping. If it's free shipping, that's when I buy from them. That's it. As far as paint, otherwise it's just a craft store. So.
Yeah, and it depends how quickly you need it as well, I suppose, doesn't it? If you need it immediately, it's you make the trip out, and if not, I'm quite happy to wait for it. It's like my Windsor and Newton brushes. I shall be buying those off eBay, I suppose, because they don't sell them anywhere locally to where I am. I'm sure I've looked for them and never found them. So, although I'm a bit dubious about buying them online. What if I get a dodgy one? That the cover's been put back on the brush and it's all splayed it. I'd be worried about that. But who knows? We'll give it a go anyway.
Yeah.
There is always that wanting to sort of see it.
I like to see a brush before I buy it.
Yeah, at Hobbycraft especially, all the brushes had all been messed with, and they were in an awful state. Finding one that was actually half decent.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's kids just playing with them or what, but they were just awful.
Yeah, it's no good.
As far as buying most of my stuff, I've got an Amazon Prime account, so I'm broke all the time. And I've constantly got next day deliveries coming to my work because everything comes from Amazon. It's like, oh, need a couple of batteries? Amazon, free next day delivery. It's crazy. I'm just constantly, the work is sick of it. Just every single day there's like 3 parcels coming for me, and it's all stupid little stuff. It's not expensive stuff. It's just stuff that costs like £1, and it gets its own little box from Amazon and comes the next day. It's a slippery slope once you get an Amazon Prime account. It really is.
Yeah, it depends what I'm buying, really. I buy from all different places depending on what I need. So, for example, green stuff. I get green stuff from eBay because it's just so cheap. You get so much for your money.
Yeah.
You know. And then my varnish that I get Series 7 Winsor & Newton. I get from WH Smith's. They actually do quite a good little art section in there, and they do actually sell some good Winsor & Newton stuff in there. They do hand varnish.
To WH Smith's.
Hand varnish. Yeah, little art section in there.
Yeah.
Get those from there. And then, obviously, my main stuff at the moment, I'm guessing from WARGAMES, of course. So Martin McNeil's doing a great job at WARGAMES. So I tend to buy all my models and the hardware from there. But occasionally I will pop into GW if I need a pot of paint, etc. You know, a couple of quid for pick up a pot of paint. But that's pretty much it. I'm at that stage really where I'm only really buying supplies. I'm not actually buying models so much that often. You know, it's just like a paintbrush. My paintbrushes I get online from a company called Ken Bromley. So yeah, sort of, it's all over the place really. But like I said, I don't actually spend a huge amount of money on the hobby anymore because I've got most of it. So for me, I'm just topping up on bits and pieces unless there's a new model that comes out that I want.
Yeah, we're starting a new army where you need a whole new set of colours.
Yeah.
So a lot of my paints that I'm still using are in awful state. A lot of them have gone very lumpy. They've not dried out, but they've gone lumpy and separated and horrible. Which is another reason I'm going away from GW as well, because it's all the GW ones that have done that. The rest of the paints are fine.
Dropper bottles, man. That's where it's at.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Scrag Guards asked, has any of us ever bought the full GW range?
No.
I did once.
Yeah, I
Really?
have. Yeah.
Wow.
It was
That's
third
more than I was
edition.
expecting.
The big set with they came with the little plastic bottles like he showed earlier. I had that, and I think I used maybe 2 or 3 colors out of the whole thing.
Oh dear. I know that
I bought the full range twice.
twice.
Yeah. The original paints, you know, with the old colours, you know, the old ultramarine blues and Devlin muds and all that. Back then, I bought the full range then, and then they changed them, which really messed me up. I felt and was going to change. I did a video on it actually to buy the full range again, so I sold all of the old paints and bought the new range in and completely replaced everything. And yes, I've done it twice. There we go.
I wasn't expecting that. I know Sponge Murphy got it bought for him. He was doing a shed tour. I think it was last week, and he showed like all of the paints that he had bought for him. I think that was one of the big kits that he had.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it again. I don't think. I think my hobby's progressed now, and I think I would keep and settle for what I've got now, and just build up the collection as I needed it. You know, if they were to change the range again, to be fair.
So do those kits come with like carry cases usually?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Or
I mean, it was in a. It was in a segmented, you know, little plastic tray thing, you know, that was in a bigger box.
Right.
But no, I didn't keep that. They're all in. I keep all my paints in a battle foam pack. They're all sort of loaded up in there. Yeah,
in foam as well.
Yeah.
All right. I say the reason I brought that up is because we're moving on to storage is the next thing on my list. So that was a nice little segue. I'm going to go through how we all store them, but I wasn't expecting foam. That's crazy.
Well,
that's where I keep all my paints.
Talk about organized.
3 layers of foam and brushes in the top.
This is when we all bring out our collections.
So I can move about the house. So I'm sort of portable when I paint.
That's mine. Paintbrush is falling out. So yeah, you can see I've got some of the old G-Dub ones. I've got some weathering powders, but I'm slowly but surely getting more and more of the Vallejo droppers as well. So, but I'm not organised at all. And I don't have many colours, to be honest, because I've only repainted a couple of armies. And I use about 4 or 5 paints per army because I paint the colourblind way. not the normal way that other people do.
What are y'all doing?
I've not got all that many.
Huh?
I certainly wouldn't have use for like 100 different paints.
No, it's a challenge. It's a challenge almost to try and use
half
those
of the
colours.
paints I probably wouldn't use if I went for that. You know.
Yeah.
It's like for me, I do commissions for my friends. So if I see a paint that I like or a paint that I think I'm going to need later, I'll just grab it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be Christmas again soon, and they'll release another full set. They released it at Christmas, don't they? The full. However many paint, because they brought out some new paints again now, haven't they? They've got some new layer paints and some new shades and new technical paints and things. And it'll be a 250 pot paint range, won't it, for 500 quid or whatever it costs, you know,
That's
or
true.
600 quid maybe. Yeah, could be, who knows?
So does anyone have any fancy storage solutions for their tools then? So we've gone through paints. Mine are all dumped in a box.
Mine are in this bag here.
Oh, right. So
My
you've
tool
gone.
purse, as my wife calls it, my tool purse.
Is that a boot bag? Like for football boots? Oh, I remember when we all used to use those at school for a while. Became the craze.
No, it's not really. It's a small bag. It's a little thing.
Oh yeah, more like a toiletry bag type thing.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah. It's like a hard canvas thing, but no. I mean, I've got tool boxes for my sort of all my tools, and then I kind of portable. You know, you put all my day-to-day tools in that little pouch just to use as I go.
That's fair. It's a lot more organised than me. Mine are strewn around the place, like my paintbrushes.
I just get those little organizers. Just one that'll fit most of it in there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I need something like that. Yeah.
I need something like that as well. It's getting silly. Okay, Grawley's Layer has joined us. Hello.
Hey.
We've had a fair old range of people on tonight, haven't we? It's quite good. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it, unless anyone's got anything else. We have concentrated quite a bit on paint, but of course painting is a major part of what we do, I think. So it's bound to be the case.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've heard that there's a channel called Paint and Butter, and he's released his own set of paintbrushes called Level 7, I think they're called.
Right.
But apparently they're meant to be best on the market. I've heard multiple reviews.
Right. I know is it Broken Toad? He also did his own range of brushes recently.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about those.
See, I was
New
tempted
ones
to try
come out.
those. I never kind of pulled the trigger on those. I was tempted on those. They were, I think, it's 4 brushes for 30 quid, I think. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I need to change my range, I think, and have a look.
It's a complete unknown, isn't it?
I try
when
not
going into
to-
new ones. Sorry, what was
I
that?
know, it's just a bit scary, I think.
Yeah.
I try
Sorry.
not to use too many paint brushes, only because I kind of accidentally use them like mallets. So it's like my brush life isn't very long. So I try and avoid trying to buy very good quality ones, because I know I'll just wreck them in the end.
Yeah, I think I'm on in the same vein as you, to be honest. My dry brushes last a lot longer. That's for sure.
Yeah. My
Hey.
fine brushes.
Sorry, you broke up then.
So yeah, my fine detail brushes often become dry brushes, as we see here.
Yeah, I've turned some of mine into really, really short dry brushes. Some nice details, which is a bit weird. You got like the tiniest dry brush ever.
Yeah, they're good for
Getting in
like
them corners, man.
small details.
True. The
Talking
vast
of
majority
brushes.
of. Sorry, go for it.
I was just about to say, talking of brushes, brush cleaner, highly recommend that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that, to be honest.
I've heard absinthe is very good for a brush cleaner as well, because I know a lot of modeler paints who do stuff like magazines and stuff use absinthe to clean the brushes.
Would any alcohol work, do you think?
I'm not sure. You could give it a try. I mean, if you do what I do and lick the tips off the brushes, you might end up being a bit tipsy, which is maybe a bit...
Yeah, my brushes spend more time in my mouth than they do actually in
That's how you get that
painting.
point, man.
It's true.
It's the cardinal sin of brush care, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when you've washed it and then you lick it into a shape.
Can't help it.
You do watercolor painting, you sometimes use your own spit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the inevitable drinking your painting water. You're cleaning your cup of tea.
I have a lid on mine, so I never do that.
There we go.
I need a fancy
I just take the lid off when I have to clean it out. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much paint comes out of the bristles when you use the brush cleaner. To be fair, even after you've rinsed it in your pot of water. I mean, using the brush cleaner, it's amazing. Really, never go back now after using the brush cleaner.
I haven't used standard brush cleaner yet, but Candy Art Studios did that thing about using a baby shampoo, and I've done that, and it works pretty good. And you get a big bottle of it. So
yeah, just find out it works.
Yeah.
Alright. Gareth is saying he uses isopropanol.
Yeah.
Is that just alcohol, basically? So what they use in medical stuff, is it? I don't know. I just lick everything. Very basic.
Well, if in doubt.
Yeah.
If in doubt, lick it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, sorry, I'm pulling some strange faces. I hit myself in the face with my bike lock the other day. In fact, yesterday, and I've cut all my lip, like from the front right to the back. You know, they're the coil ones. So usually I'm quite careful with pulling it off the wall because there's like a hoop. So anyway, yesterday I decided, screw that, I'm just going to pull it as hard as I can and see what happens. And it had a plastic shroud around it, and that had gone. And it's basically just a block of metal on the end of a spring and pulling towards my face. And it hit me right there on the mouth. Blood all in my mouth. My teeth were just bright red. It was fantastic. And then I had to ride home. So that was fun. So I got.
You didn't knock any teeth out though?
No, I was expecting to have half my front tooth missing, but
yeah.
Just a fat lip for all last night.
Yeah.
Need that battle scar, man.
Yeah. The lip scar? Don't know. I've forgotten how painful thick lips were, that's for sure. It was pounding all the way home. Interesting story of the day. Right, what time is it? I think we've probably covered everything we wanted to. We in agreement on that one?
Yeah, I think so.
We could probably visit it at a later date, maybe go into more specifics. This has been an episode about paint. Those people seem to be getting on board with it, to be honest. So that's quite good.
Seems alright, like, yeah.
It's an important part of the hobby.
It really is.
Yeah. It's the bit that people watch, doesn't it? I mean, you've only got to watch paint tutorial channels and see how popular they are to see.
Yeah.
That it's really one of the things that everybody does. So yeah, I guess we'll throw it over for some questions. We've had a fairly lively chat this episode. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions or they've seen any questions go up the chat, let us know. It'll be a while before they come through. I think I saw one a little bit further up. What was it? Oh yes. Has anybody used the Citadel Air range? Has anybody used?
I have two pots of it that I got in that dice head box. I didn't even realize it was Citadel Air range. So I've used it with the paintbrush. I haven't ran it through the airbrush yet, though. So I didn't even pay attention to what it was.
I bought a pot of Fenrisian Grey by mistake, and I bought the air range instead of the normal range. And again, like Rich, I've used it with the paintbrush, absolutely fine. And again, fine through the airbrush. I thin all my regular GW paints down to put through the airbrush and put them all in dropper bottles, which is probably a false economy, and I should just buy blooming paints and dropper bottles, but there we go. That's what I do.
Depends how much the dropper bottles cost, I guess.
But they're cheap, to be honest, and it sticks with the same. I've got all the same colours then, and although I could buy the air range and put them in dropper bottles, but I've got the normal range anyway. So.
I've heard the air range works better on brush than it does on airbrush. I've heard from here and there.
Is that right?
I might have to try them out, I think. Just quickly, Chief Live Gaming, love you too.
Aww.
Yeah, it's nice. Right, any more questions from anyone?
Anyone?
Seeing, what was I?
This is a paint question for me. Have any of y'all used the Vallejo Air or whatever it is? Have you noticed that the colors are slightly different from the regular paint?
Well, that's not good, is it?
I got US Dark. It's almost unnoticeable, but you can tell though. The US Dark Green, because that's my main towel color. I got the air paint for doing the big stuff, and I noticed when I sprayed it on there, it's just a shade, like a very light shade off. So it's not too big a deal. I was lighting it up from there anyway. So
bit of a nightmare for me though, because I can't tell to begin with.
I'm thinking about getting, sorry. I was thinking about getting spray cans for our army painter, because I've already got a few and they're alright, but it's just like I'm looking at all my Chaos Marines, I'm thinking I can't be undercoating black then going blue on top and then making 50 shades of blue on top of that. You spray them so I can just get stuck in with the washes.
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to use the Dragon Red Army Painter spray from my Blood Angels and used it as a primer and a base coat, and it was fine to be fair.
Yeah.
One of the things I basically have to do because I'm colourblind is I pick a colour, I try to go for a fairly light colour, paint that on, wash it with black, and then bring it back up with the original colour to get my layers of shade, because if I start messing around with different shades of green, for example, I'm going to end up with just some ridiculous looking crap where none of the greens match, and there'll probably be completely different shades of yellowy green or whatever. Same for reds and things. There was an old video I did where I painted gems using just red. So I did red gems, so I used red, black wash, and then a dot of white, and by just putting a couple of layers of the wash on and then a couple of layers of the red paint in a certain way, I can't remember exactly how I did it, but I got them looking a really nice gradient across the top of the gem, just using two paints essentially, rather than lots of different shades of red to begin with. I mean, it's not going to look as good as somebody who's used lots of different shades of red, but it works for me, that's for sure. It looks nice on the table, especially from a distance. But yeah. Oh, we've got some questions. Technical paints, have we used them? I've not. Or I should.
I have not.
Is that the Games Workshop stuff like Blood for the Blood God and stuff?
Yeah.
I use them, but it's like, you know, makeup for like monster effects on like movies and stuff. I tend to think of them like that more often, because I know a lot of people just go slap Blood for the Blood God everywhere, and it looks alright, but it looks like cheap Halloween paint, like the fake blood and stuff. So what I usually do is I get a bit of dark red. Well, I get a bit of like dark red, like red gore or gory red from Jello. I mix it in with a bit of Abaddon black or whatever black you've got. Just a hint of black, darken it up, apply it as a base coat, then use one like thin shade of gory red on top of that. Then I apply Blood for the Blood God, and it looks like it's proper blood-soaked, caked in blood effect. So I think they are good, but the way I would apply them is watch like monster effects, show like how they do like pus and stuff and all that, and think of like the technical paints as the final layer on stuff rather than just one trick does all.
I mean, the ones that interest me more than anything are the texture paints. So like the crackle, though I'm probably just going to buy some crackle from a hobby store.
I've used one of them. I'll get them out. Actually, yes, I will get them out if I've got the
They're pretty good actually. The texture paints, I've been using those now on my Project Z zombies just to do like a road effect. There's a granite one that I put on, and then you sort of brush it and wash it with blacks and browns or whatever colours, and put some road markings on it. It looks really good actually. Those texture paints, and the crackle, the Agrellan Earth, cracks really nicely, but it's really expensive for the amount you get. You know, and the amount you might want to use.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I use mine for, especially with the Batman mini, there's a lot of base inside an already textured base, so you usually just see like a load of texture and then a massive like slot hole, as you can see like from here. So what I usually do is I get like a little bit of like what do you call it, coffee stirring cups, these stirring sticks. I use one of them as a tool, and I just slap them on top over the usually a few layers over the tab, and it virtually makes the tab invisible, so it looks like it's on a proper base, as you can see.
Yeah.
And yet underneath there's the tab still sticking, holding on to the base. Same with the depth shot. So they're very good. It's like I usually use them more as a tool than a paint, but make a very effective tool, especially if you want like a different sort of paint and they don't have the colour that you want for textures.
Yeah. Being told, no, the new technical paints, the ones for gemstones. What's different about those paints? Does anybody know? I'm looking for them on the site and I can't find them. Am I missing
From what
something?
I've seen of the reviews, the new gemstone paints are basically different colours of blood for the blood guard.
So they're basically...
Almost. They're basically similar paint to the blood guard paints, but they're different colours.
Yeah. They got a kind of translucent look to them, haven't they? And I think you give it a base coat of a metallic. I mean, the video I saw was
maybe they like a...
they've released a new layer of metallic paint, a light silver, and then you wash this new, paint the new technical paint on it and sort of drag it up to create this gemstone effect. Looks quite good, but I've not tried it.
Yeah, it looks quite good, but all my Eldar are yellow gemstones, and they don't have a yellow. So
Yeah.
You can try, but you won't be able to see you.
Yeah. It'll be like glazed texture.
There we go.
Hello.
My wife wanted to say hi.
They're a gel paint. Big Mac
Oh,
Downskull saying they're gel.
They're under shades. Citadel shades, I think. Maybe? Well, they're
I've
hiding
also
them
heard
well
like
anyway.
I remember as well. There was a Twitch user that I watched the streams and stuff when she does commission paint for like Sisters of Battle and stuff. She's called Silver Foxy Tail, and she uses micron pens for like all the fine letter writing and stuff.
Oh.
So like instead of like freehanding it all on the scriptures and stuff, she just like uses that, and like if you've got like a suit and stuff where it's all pinstripes and stuff, you use a micron pen. Apparently that sticks and holds for a long time.
Well, you got the Bondi they make for the Gundam models. They have the technical pins too. You can get some of those, and those will work. They're expensive, but
Yeah.
I've seen them work pretty good.
So do they come in different paint, like different colours, or is it just black?
They come in different colours.
Alright.
yeah, don't worry, Craig. You can get those in green.
That's alright then. It's all about the green. We've had a question, what do we use for green stuff?
Yep, I used to use the can't remember the name, Gal Force 9 grey stuff. You get 2 big pots for about £10, which is quite good value for money. But I've now gone back to actual green stuff because it's been cheap on eBay just to get a massive chunk of green stuff. Strip.
What about tools? Does anyone have any specific tools they use? Yeah,
I
I'm
use
trying
the
to think what I use.
I just use cheap sculpting tools.
I use the GW tool and colour shapers, like the silicone brushes.
Yeah,
I want to get some of those.
They're really, really good.
Yeah.
I
I have some cheap ones, but they're not as stiff as I want.
I haven't done much with green stuff, but I basically snapped the bit off a pen and just used that the last time I did anything. Does the trick, because I snapped it, I got some funny angles and I had lots of different edges I could use. What was that?
Sometimes I use a hobby knife. Sorry.
Yes, a hobby knife is good as well, as long as you, again, lick it.
I use them in cocktail sticks as well. I've got a ton of them here.
Cocktail
Just stripped.
sticks?
Yeah. Sometimes it's like you've got like a really dodgy, or if you want a specific pattern, sometimes just rolling it out, like as you place it on the model, rolling it out to smooth it out. And also Vaseline as well sometimes, because like fingers, sometimes when I apply stuff with fingers and stuff, it leaves the fingerprint mark. So if you use a bit of Vaseline, just a small bit, and just rub it over where you've placed it with your fingerprint, it smooths the whole green stuff out. So then you don't get the fingerprint mark anymore. It's quite hard, green stuff. Yeah. I found green stuff, like, I want to do lots of sculpting stuff with green stuff, but when I've looked on tutorials on YouTube and all that, it's usually a lot of advertisements, unfortunately, I find. I can't really get, like, any decent sculpting stuff. It's like I want to make wolf pelts for some Mikhail's Lords and stuff like that, but every time I go on, it's just, like, advertisement to get specific templates to, like, push onto the green stuff to take out.
I've seen people do wolf pelts by basically just pinching the tweezers lots and lots of times, and that can make quite good fur.
Yeah.
So I guess we use all sorts of stuff. We've also been asked, what do we use for metallic paints? Do we use one range, or do we switch up the paint depending on what we're painting? Long question.
I just use the GW metallics, which I find really good, actually. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I find once I put the base coat down, a couple of layers, and then I wash it, it goes nice and dull, and then it's all ready for highlighting, and I think it comes out really well. I quite like it.
Yeah, I've had good results with the GW metallics as well. Although, like I said, I've just bought some of the Vallejo silvers just to try those out on the Titan when I get around to sorting him out.
Hey Mike, is it the ones that are in the like pot that you open or whatever? The bigger ones? Or the dropper bottles?
Just the dropper. Just to have a go, see what they're like. Yeah. But it was the chrome one I was interested in, yeah.
I recently went to Vallejo myself, and I'm finding it doesn't cover as well. It's almost like there isn't enough pigment in it in the Vallejo one that I'm using. Like,
is that brushing or painting?
That's
airbrushing or painting.
I was gonna say that's painting with brushes.
Yes, indeed.
Like, so what am I thinking? So if you imagine when you painted something with the GW metallic, even if the light's not shining off it, you can tell that it's that colour. But the Vallejo paint that I've bought, it's weird. You can only tell that it's silver when the light hits it. Otherwise, it looks the same colour as the paint underneath. It's one of the things I've found. I don't know whether I've just had some bad luck or what, but that's... Yeah. I got this. So it's the model colour, and it's the natural steel. But yeah, if I've got black or green paint underneath this, if the light's not hitting the glitter in it, it just looks black or green, and it's really weird. Yet the GW stuff actually looks silver regardless. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I am regretting buying this one. I'm going to have to go back to GW ones, which is a shame. I've been really intrigued to hear what other people think of the Vallejo metallics, to be honest.
I have a friend, he's not in the chat box, he's messaged me at the same time, but he says P3. He said they make great metallics.
Alright.
So they don't separate, they keep their tones good.
Maybe it's because I bought the model air instead of the game colour. I don't know. Could that have an impact?
I think models colours like more for like large scale models, if that makes sense. So it's like larger models like statues and stuff like that. And I think the game is more specific to wargame and stuff. I mean, I use this for my wargame and stuff. This is the only one I've really bought. I remember when the store was selling out, I literally just got like 4 bottles of this because I knew I would need this for the entirety of me Night Lord's Force.
I want to try that MiG range. MiG's supposed to have some good colors. They do like some metallic blues and stuff that look really, really good. I watched some Orc Painter Nerd. He got them in and tested them out. He did an ultramarine all blue with them too, and they looked really nice.
Alright. I think if we take just one last question, Grawley's Lair is asking us if we use mediums over our paints. Mentions iridescent medium. So what is that? Is like glow in the dark? Is that what iridescent means?
I think it just gives it more of a shine.
I need to look up the word iridescent, I think. Right, so yeah, what started off as a sort of a week chat about hobby supplies has turned into about an hour talking about paints, which is fine. That's what people are interested in. Gareth said he's also had problems with the metallic paints as well. Oh well. Right, so we're reaching 10 o'clock, so we're probably going to give it an end here.
10 o'clock, it's only 3:55.
Yeah, I need to keep that in mind actually. So what time did we start over there?
2.
In the afternoon?
Around 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an odd time.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Right, so I guess we'll sign off. Really, nothing more to say. I'm quite tired today, and I think that's showing on the stream as well. I've been very off on this one.
I haven't slept last night. I literally went on Xbox, went with a few friends. 12 hours later, I'm still playing on video games, and then the sun rise. I was like, okay. Whoops.
Yeah. I miss those days. I really miss those days.
When I was a boy.
Not that I could handle it anymore, to be honest. Gets to 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm dead. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I guess we'll say goodbye. Yeah. Check these guys out on YouTube if you're not already. The names of each channel above our heads. So thank you to everybody who's in the chat. It's been quite a lively chat this week. It's been nice. And thank you to these guys for joining in and talking on the show. It's been quite good. Right. I guess we all say goodbye then.
See you later.
Back in 2 weeks with another subject. Right, guys. Hopefully we'll see you soon.